Scott, thank you very much for joining us. 1-0 defeat. What's your take on the team's performance?
Really mixed emotions. So proud of the boys. Disappointed by the defeat, of course, but in my head, everything that I thought about last night, how I wanted the game to go, the boys did exactly that. I think the work rate, the desire, the intelligence that they showed in terms of going to press Ebbsfleet, make it difficult for them. No one cut any corners today. I think they gave us absolutely everything, and I think the performance, we might have done better at times with the ball, but we had so many corners and things like that I'm just desperate for someone to get the head on it. But yeah, there's a lot of positives to take in a defeat. So much better than Tuesday night, a million miles away from that, which is obviously a bonus. But yeah, listen, we haven't forgotten that we've lost a game, but we're playing against a team that's a million miles ahead of us in terms of where they're at, their development, their resources and things like that. So we were up against it, but yeah, really proud of the lads.
Today you went with a bit of more of defensive strategy. You put only one striker. Until that goal, do you think it was actually working?
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought George Alexander was a real bright spark today. I think he was a massive positive. Just his work rate, desire, closing down, hassling people, similar to sort of Jamie Vardy. That's the way I compare him. And I think that he's come in today having not trained with the squad yet, and he's given us a performance that he can be proud of. One that I'm certainly delighted with as well. And I think he's only going to get better. You could see that he's come in and he's played today like he's not a lone player. So he's met the other lads that come here on loan, and they're doing exactly that. You look at your Temis and people like that have come on loan, and they do it the right way. And it's so important that they don't come in and they're not selfish. I think George and his performance and the way that he works off the ball is the most unselfish performance. Gives you absolutely everything, and yeah, really pleased with him.
You were talking about George Alexander, who looked very lively, but what would you say you lacked in that offensive third to get that equaliser today?
I think maybe just the final pass. I think if we were going to score today, it was going to be a second ball, or if it was going to be a set piece. Had so many set pieces, and I was desperate for someone to go and get the head on it. But that shows in terms of, and I'm not saying dominance that we had, but we obviously had a foothold in the game at times where we did have corner after corner in the first half. And I was quite excited. I thought, you know what, we've got a foothold in the game and we might be able to nick something. And then obviously the sucker punch with their unbelievable strike. There's not much anything Will can do about it. I think he's made a couple of really good saves in the game, of course he has. But we can't take away from how close we were at times. Just that anticipation of getting on something in the end of the box. But yeah, so proud of the lads. I think from sort of last Saturday and Tuesday night, was really disappointed. Went home and thought, you know what, that's not what we're about. But I think we picked a team today that went out there, played for the badge, played for the club, and gave us absolutely everything.
You played today against Ebbsfleet, who are the league leaders. Most probably they're going to win the league. You played two very close games this season. What would you say, like, how good are they, or like, where they possess most threats? Why are they?
Yeah, they keep the ball so well. They obviously drag you out of positions. They're a really good football inside, but you look at it, they probably have 4 or 5 mornings a week to work on what they do, because they're full time. Whilst they're doing sort of shape and doing tactics, most of our lads are fitting kitchens. So that's what we're doing. And listen, we're worlds apart in terms of development, like I said earlier, resources and things like that. But what combats ability for me is hard work, and we tried to get as many hard-working players out there today as we could, and I don't think anyone cut any corners. I think the fans can see that as well. They stuck with us right to the end. The atmosphere was great, and I hope that they've not raised their levels today in terms of their work rate and tempo and things like that just because the cameras are here. And you can't just raise your game for when you're one of the big sides come here. It has to be when we go to Hemel next week, when we have Chippenham here, we go to Taunton away. It needs to carry on. It needs to be that domino effect that, listen, we are where we are in the league. We need a reaction in every game. And I think today we got that. I'm not gone in there and been too disappointed. No one expected anything from us today. I did. I thought we might be able to sneak a point or 3. But yeah, listen, just wasn't to be.
You spoke to us about on Tuesday evening about you not really care about whether it's going to be cameras here or not, but obviously with all the attention and all the people around here, you must have felt a bit nervous that it's a special game. Did you feel that in the dressing room before the game?
We tried to knock it out of the lads, I'll be honest with you. I said to them, listen, forget the cameras here. The only people that matter are your friends and family, the supporters that are watching you. People watching at home, you're never going to talk to these people. You might have a few friends that are watching it. People watch football because they enjoy it. When you wanted to sign, kind of blank that out. And I thought the lads did that. No one played up to the cameras. No one tried to do it by themselves. It was a collective, joint effort to try and get a result from the game. But for me, that's how Arbor Park should be every week, with 1,200 people, the size of Slough. Obviously, huge community. We need to get more people in through the door, and I think the board are doing that now. They're making a massive effort. But a club like Slough, we should have 1,200 people every week. I know it's a great attendance for us, and we thank everyone for coming. But I just think to myself, it's got so much potential in terms of the fan base, and it just creates a much better atmosphere to play in. And obviously, when you get a better atmosphere, everyone's levels go up 5–10% because of the noise. Just gives you that adrenaline kick that players need in a game sometimes. And you can probably see that in the last 10 minutes. I thought we put a lot of balls into their box, put them under a little bit of pressure, and that's where the fans help. I know it's so cliche, but it really does. I think it just drives you on a little bit more, spurs you on. But yeah, for me, I think we can get to 1,200 a week. I really do believe that. Hopefully we can do that with the performances and results, but we realise that we need to do the work on the pitch to get people to come in and watch us.
You have a midweek game off now. You're gonna go to Hamel next weekend. So what positives can you take from this game going into that one?
Yeah, I think we've just got to go into that game with the right mindset, with the right attitude. I think attitude is probably the word, because people can pick and choose their attitude. You can turn up here today and think, oh, do you know what? I'm just going to enjoy it in front of the cameras, and I'm gonna do what I want to do. Or you can turn up and think, do you know what? I'm going to roll my sleeves up. I'm going to do what myself, Togs and Yellow have asked to do. And when you do that, we set up a game plan, not for just for the sake of it. We do it for a reason. And I think you've got 11 players there plus 3 off the bench that came on and did absolutely that. And when people are obviously pulling in the right direction, in the same direction, you'll get results. You'll get results, there's no doubt about it. And hopefully we can get enough results between now and the end of the season to obviously maintain our status in the National League South. That is the one thing that I'm desperate for. I don't ever sort of stress about it too much, to be honest, because you can only look at the next game. So we'll look at Hemel next week, how we can try and get 3 points from that. But we realise that we're in an okay position. It could be better, but it is what it is. When you look at the league table, it doesn't lie. We'll make sure that we go into Hemel next week full of confidence, full of energy, and full of good attitudes. Like I just said, I think that's the most important thing.
Right, thank
Cheers,
you.
guys.